There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. A little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Bon dia, alegria. From me, Carl Munson, from expatsportugal.com, here on the Good Morning Portugal live stream and podcast. How are you this morning? Well, I hope. Tudo bem? Please answer in Portuguese. How about it? Let's see who's been doing their 15 minutes. So answers in Portuguese this morning. How are you? How's it looking? How's it hanging? Where you are in your part of Portugal or the world. Great show for you today. Thursday, move to Portugal Thursday. And we go from north to south today after a little bit of a chat and a warm-up, as is customary from now until 9. Look, we've got at 9 o'clock, our man in the north, Vitor Costa, joins us. Always a treat and a pleasure and a lot of fun talking to Vitor. If you've got any questions about the north of Portugal, the underrated north, Vitor's your man. And then we got some friends who are going to be on telly soon, Cheryl and Graham Smith, who are in the south, in the Algarve, at their lovely place, Figs on the Foncho. Foncho meaning fennel, I believe, which gives you a little bit of a clue as to what their place is like, which is a centre where I think you can get married there. They'll tell us more about it, but they're going to be on the telly show, Our New Place in the Sun, and that airs quite soon on TV. Excuse me, already. Yeah, that's airing quite soon on the telly, and they're going to be here to tell us all about their TV appearance and their place. And if you've got any questions about the Algarve or moving to Portugal and being based in the south, ideal to be able to talk to them this morning. So who's in? Gemini's in this morning. Sam in Australia. Oh, Grumpers this morning. Is that a reflection of how you're feeling this morning, Sam, or a typo? Or like, let's work our way through these. I've got a few things I want to definitely talk to you about this morning. A possible new feature called Luso or Loser. And I think I found myself in the Luso department, well and truly Lusophonic and Lusophilic yesterday. Well, that doesn't sound so great, does it? But look, Sam's here, Moaz is here. I'm doing about an hour every day. James is here. Now that Seth is in the rear view, time to get serious about my language study. Brian's here also as well. Good morning to you, Brian. Gemini, Bradshaw, and the Thunder. Tudo bem? Hey, very good, very familiar as well. We're talking more, of course, to the Duck tomorrow on our new podcast that launches, the Bubble Off Center podcast. You know about that? Here's the marketing. Bubble Off Center live streaming podcast. That's after the show tomorrow with you, the Duck. Oh, actually, I forgot to download a tribute to the Duck. Sarah, thank you so much. Oh, my goodness. And James, just seen what you've sent me. Thank you so much. My goodness, what a lovely big yellow slug you have, she said. So I need to download that immediately, don't I? And from Sarah yesterday, I think we have to guess what these are after a conversation we had yesterday. So let me just get those loaded up, and then we'll see who else is here this morning. Let's work our way through these lovely comments from you lovely Gumpers. Good morning, Gumpers. A Gumper in South Africa. Look, bon dia todos. How's everyone? Happy Thursday. And good morning to you, Francis. Thanks for joining us. I know you've had a busy January. Just got back from UK late last night. Lovely to be back. What was it like in the UK? Things are changing day by day there, aren't they? Waiting for the Sue Gray report. If you do anything questionable, just say you're waiting for the report. That's how that's the way to do it, isn't it? Let us not jump the gun. Let us wait for the results of the report, which you can be assured will feature complete transparency. Joao F is here saying hello. Work in the room, and lovely to have you here, Joao F, of course. And yeah, when I was talking about Luso or Loser, I wanted to explain as well. Luso, which you will see, Lusitania is the name, the ancient name of Portugal, of course, and it's Latin in origin. But look, the late Latin prefix used to denote Portuguese in conjunction with another toponym or demonym. There you go. I have to look those up after the show as well. The word derived from Lusitania, the Latin name for what would be modern Portugal. So yeah, Lusophonic, Lusophilia, the love of Portugal, but it's been ruined, that word, unfortunately, isn't it? So yeah, there you go. That's just setting the scene for a lovely adventure or experience I had yesterday in a possible feature, Luso or Loser, and I was there as a true Lusitanian warrior on the streets of San Martino de Porto, coming to the aid of a Portuguese person. Love it when that happens. The OLP are in this morning as well. Good morning to all you gumpers. Rebel Mama's here. Everybody, how you doing, Rebel Mama? And great, we've got quotes from Groucho Marx again. Probably a Stephen Wright. Let's work our way back to probably about 7:30 this morning when the first Gumpers were here. I do not care to belong to a club that accepts people like me as members. There you go. We are the riot, says James Holly. Fantastic. Thank you for that, James. And thank you for your big yellow slug this morning. Well, I was going to say this runs and runs. It's not really sluggish behavior, is it, to run and run? This, what would we say? This crawls and crawls. This gently makes its way across your patio, leaving a trail of unspeakable and repulsive substance in its wake. But there you go. It's on, everybody, on pay-per-view. Dr. Bayards versus the Slug. I'd watch that. I'd pay good money to watch that. Look at that thing. It's amazing, isn't it? Absolutely amazing. And features there in James's beautiful profile pic as well. 50 Shades of Yellow and Black there on his YouTube profile pic. Thank you very much for that. I love a bit of Gumper artwork. Superb. Thank you very much for that. And coming to a sports channel near you, Yellow Slug Wrestling. Oh, whilst I'm about it, that looks like a yellow slug as well, doesn't it? The lanyard of that award there. Which one of our providers do you think has maintained their gold service award from our tried and trusted and tested gang of associates who we love to work with to help you move to Portugal? Which one of them got the FIFO and kept the FIFO for 2022? All will be revealed later on that. Oh, as well, the identity of this person. And we've got more of these, which is excellent. We've got a couple of who is this? This is, I suppose you would say, technically, which is quite confusing. But on the left of your picture there, who is that? Young man, now not vintage exactly, but older than when that picture was taken, probably 70s, turning over to the 80s there. Who's that from our community on the left? And who's this at a football match, also in our community? He was in yesterday, if it's a clue for you there, at a sporting match there, showing his true colours. Great bit of work. I wonder how long that took to I always think when you go to that sort of effort and then you're on the metro on the way home and maybe your team's lost, it just feels a little bit like you just want to wipe it all off, get home and get to that cream cleaner or whatever it is that women use, generally speaking, to take that sort of stuff off their face. Not often that I wear makeup. My two panto performances, I remember, people who wear makeup every day, I take my hat off to you and take my makeup off to you as well when I've had it plastered on thickly onto my face. I don't know how you do it, people who do that every single day. Baddie is here. Jandis Helena Mitchell, we're known as Baddie in this community. You're on the right track. Okay, we'll come back to that because I think we should do these the right way around. Day 268, pinched Carl's license plates and insurance sticker. What? That'll teach me for leaving my car open in safe and trustworthy Portugal, which I often do. So Thunder's made it. I thought that Groucho Marx looking character hot-footing it away from the vehicle yesterday. That was you, was it, Thunder? So day 268 of Licenseless. This is a chapter, isn't it, in the autobiography of the Duck, Licenseless in Lisbon. Stephen Wright quote of the day, curiosity killed the cat, but for a while I was a suspect. That's brilliant. And a George Carlin, could have been me actually. Well, if crime fighters fight crime and firefighters fight fire, what do freedom fighters fight? They never mention that part to us, do they? It's so true, actually. And an interesting insight into humanity there, and the humanity mentality, I suppose. fighting against things. It's interesting, isn't it? Maybe this is probably one of the topics that's best discussed on the Bubble Off Centre podcast, where we look at the big issues in a light-hearted way, in a big-hearted way. But is fighting against things the best way to get rid of them? Or does it inflame things further and further? Or should it just, I suppose there I go, being polar, suggesting that it's maybe the only way to deal with something. Perhaps it's just one arm of a multifaceted approach to putting behind us the things that we don't like in society, and different dispositions in society are drawn towards different parts of the struggle, if you like, aren't they? So the fighter's going to fight, the philosophers are going to philosophize. I suppose maybe that's the way forward. James, you're on the right track. The J is pronounced as a Y, and the R is rolled, and the I is actually an I, is it? Which is pronounced E. Oh my goodness. Bjarnish. Okay. Bjarnish, or Baddie for sure. We're going to go with Baddie, aren't we? It's a whole lot easier. Okay, and scrolling back earlier on, look, 8 o'clock in the morning, our time. Goodness knows only what time it was in California. For Baldylocks, who's in with us this morning, and Joao F. early there to greet him with a kind of Cockney greeting. Good morning to you, mate. And Jeff Jackson here also. Oh, and Baldylocks doesn't mind being called mate. Makes him feel more of a Gumper. Is that part of the Gumper vocabulary? Geezer, mate, pal, and that sort of thing, amigo. Jeff Jackson's here as well. Let us know on that. Is mate is something that's come in from the Brits? Probably, isn't it? Hello, mate. I used to hate it being called mate. Like in a shop, a gentleman younger than myself, or even a woman might say, "Hello, mate." I said, "I'm not your friend. How very dare you? That's too familiar for my liking." But it's slipped past me now. And I use it myself quite a lot. Bon dia from Jeff, who's in as well. Good morning to you, Jeff. How are you this morning? See you both ends of the day, I hope, today. See you later on the troubleshoot, the Q&A, the support session. That is part of the Expats Portugal plan, the Premium Plus membership. See you at 9 o'clock for that. And of course, while we're talking about what we're doing this evening, busy day, of course, in the Expats Portugal suburbs. And tonight, of course, our webinar. Let me bring this up onto the screen. Shipping and pet relocation. Not too late to sign up for that. And of course, premium members get a VIP push to the front of the queue for that. Moving to Portugal, shipping and pet relocation. Tonight, 7:30. Where we'll be talking to Global International Relocation, who were, of course, in this hot seat last week, weren't they? Wonderful. Luis, you had a great time talking to Luis Duarte from Global International Relocation. Looking forward to talking to him and colleagues tonight on the Portugal Calling webinar for this evening, shipping and pet relocation, which the horse may have bolted, and they do move horses around. Do you remember last week he told us that he had a contract? He'd have been a popular guy at the office, wouldn't he? That contract to move, was it 27 horses? But if they can move 27 horses, I think a little pooch like that is not going to be a problem. And I noticed I have a picture of a pooch. We haven't had any pooches, pussies, or what was the other P that we had? Pests, wasn't it? With pests as well. And I was thinking as well, we haven't had a nice ass from the countryside of Portugal recently, have we? I mean, you do see a lot of mules, asses and donkeys in the Portuguese countryside. So if you've got a nice ass picture that you want to send in to us, do that. 913-590-303. Here's Jimmy Choo. That's an old valise, a suitcase that I found. I'm a skip diver. I'll put my hand up to that. And look, here's the raised bed that I made for the front garden. This is very personal, local sort of stuff, isn't it? But I think growing food is extremely important, and tipping a nod to the Portuguese tradition of growing food. Probably cabbage in the front garden there at some point. But I also found this, which is going to be a strawberry planter, and a nice pooch pick for you there. There's Jimmy Choo. Sitting wondering what's going on. You don't want me to sit in there, do you, for this picture? But there's going to be strawberries in that suitcase soon. Won't that be a nice little featurette in the garden? And what do you do if you find one of these on your lawn? I'm going to put this forward to the gardening Q&A team of Lee and probably Cindy tuning in next Monday on our gardening Q&A. But this came up on our lawn last weekend, and not sure what you do about that. Okay, so moving on then, and more of your comments this morning. The early ones that we had. We haven't said hello to Moaz, have we? Bon dia, Carl, Itoros this morning, and all those early greetings. That's fantastic. I hope all is well with you. Bon dia, folks from Barry. And bon dia comes from James. Feliz quinta todos. This morning I woke up with Walking on Sunshine by Katrina and the Waves running in my mind. Not sure why. So yesterday he started off with Celebrate by Kool and the Gang, didn't he? And now, was it the day before? My goodness, time is flying, isn't it? Can you believe it's Thursday again already? I can't. Which means it's nearly Friday again, which means it's nearly the weekend. It's insane how fast the time is moving from my point of view. I don't know if that's the same for you. But he started us off with Kool and the Gang in the last couple of days, and now he's put Walking on Sunshine as an earworm into our ears as well. I'm good, except for a bit of a sore throat, but no fever. Oh, okay, so what, some Omicron symptoms there this morning? I think there is some booster talk, isn't there? Thank you very much from Baldilocks to Joao. I'm honoured to be called mate among the Gumpers here. I normally just watch, listen, and read the chats, but I'm changing that slowly but surely. Baldilocks, you're always welcome to shout out and put a comment in the chat. Please do. Everybody, please do that. It's really important, especially, as you know, in this part of the show between 8:30 and 9, as we warm up and just hang out in a gumperish way. And who doesn't like a gump in the mornings? That is our bumper sticker, I think. Just have a sip of tea. Hold on a minute. I just need to enjoy my tea. Mother's got the Good Morning Portugal mug this morning. I'm on the unicorn mug from Aldi, I think, which changes color allegedly when you put your boiling water in. Oh, sorry for the noises there. My friend told me yesterday that he was tested positive for corona, says Moaz, and the last time I saw him was Saturday, but I think I might have given it to him. Oh, you just never know these days, do you? The main thing is, how are you? What's the reality? As well as the test, what's the actual reality going on for you, Moaz? Bit of a sore throat, but no fever. So perhaps you've got the Omicron variant, and it's making you're living with it. And sort of getting that sorted out and coming to a balance with that, as I hope we all are across the world now in this part of the pandemic. Is it endemic yet? I got my booster a couple of months ago, excuse me, and I think it protected me, maybe me as well. He, on the other hand, didn't get the booster and got it real bad, says Moaz there. Okay, any more comments before we have a look at quite a serious actually, no. Yeah, okay. This is the order I'm going to do it in this morning. Before we talk to our man in the north, Vitor Costa, at 9, and we talk to our friends Cheryl and Graham Smith from Figs on the Fun Show, we are going to take a look at a news item, disturbing news item in the Portugal Resident, and then we'll do that Luso or Loser award. Sometimes you can feel like a loser. I don't want you to. But sometimes you can feel like a bit of a loser, can't you, when you find yourself in an interaction and your Portuguese isn't up to it, or you just panic. Yesterday, I rocked it in such a situation. I think I went away luso rather than loser yesterday. I don't know if that feature's going to stick or not, but let me see a few more comments and shout outs this morning. Deborah's back, probably going to tell us what it's like in the UK. Jack Polly, bon dia todos as well. Cindy B's here, the aforementioned. Bon dia alegria gumbers, up late this fine morning. And yeah, and the weather report, not going to do too much on the weather. Suffice to say, evidence of rain overnight, and rain brings a bit of mildness, doesn't it? So a nice morning, but a bit cloudy in the sky, but not raining at the... Oh, having said that, those clouds are looking a bit threatening out the window there. Erotic novel entry, simply the ENE. In her most seductive tone, she asked him, "Is that jaundice or is that a banana slug in your pocket?" Not the best chat-up line I've heard. Thank you, James. Bon dia, my lovelies. Are we going to make this erotic novel? I think we are. It's gathering ground, isn't it? Bon dia, my lovelies, from Owen in central Portugal this morning, probably around the Alviagra area. Talking of banana slugs in your pocket. Bon dia from the prof. Bon dia, já estou triste por estar voltando para Blighty. So returning to Blighty, I think, and sad to be doing so. A brief visit then, by the sound of it. One day we'll get to shake hands, I hope. And that fantastic picture of Eusebio with a golden boot, Ballon d'Or, right? Is that right? No, that's a Ballon d'Or with a golden ball, wouldn't it? So I don't know what the golden football boot is. The boot d'Or, we'll call it for the moment. Okay, well, good, safe trip, bon voyage. And it's been great to know you've been closer recently, Prof. Eusebio there. Bon dia from Mark this morning. And the greetings and the bonhomie continues. St. Catherine's here as well. Good morning to you, bon dia, Carl and all. And a bon dia from Jeff as well. SW, hi guys. 3 days away from Porto Lusitana, the vessel San that brought the US into world. Okay. That's the vessel sank that brought the US into World War I, possibly there. You might have to explain a little bit more, SW, on that. But great to have you here this morning. And Louise is here. Look, Louise is here, everybody. Bon dia from a farm 30 minutes northeast of Braga. Wow. Okay, so I think Vitor, you're not going to be far from Vitor, who's joining us this morning, our man in the north. Tell us more, Louise. That sounds amazing. At the moment, that sounds like a crime scene when you put it like that. I'm sure it's lovely, though. He said, I keep my bushes trimmed as it makes my deck look bigger. Oh, LP, what are you like? I'm looking forward to talking about the North, he said. No today in Portuguese history, but I'll do tomorrow's as I'll be traveling. Fair enough. You do so much for us in that regard, Prof. So fair enough. Have a day off if you're busy, and we'll look forward to catching up real soon. Have a good journey. Enjoy the journey if you possibly can here in Portugal, and we'll hear from you again when you're back in Blighty, as you say. Michelle's in as well. Bon dia, Carl, and everyone. I'm still giggling at some of these comments. Antonio F in this morning. There's a Lusitanian warrior there. Talking of Luso or loser, I'll come back to that in just a moment because I've only got blooming 8 minutes to do it. She asks us, oh yes, okay, we've covered James's banana slug makeup. Yuck, not a fan. The duck, another topic. I mean, I don't know. Do you think fewer and fewer people are wearing makeup now, and less of it? Whilst at some ends of the spectrum of wearing makeup, some people are wearing even more, aren't they? It's interesting. OLP, yay, love your entries. He said, she said, yeah, either works. We appear to be like-minded. Yeah, we know where your minds are, you two. OLP, banana slugs are no match for geoducks. That was my mascot at Evergreen State College, and our alma mater was Omnia Extares. Let it all hang out. Really? Omnia Extares. That doesn't sound especially erudite, does it? That alma mater slogan there, or is that from the campus, from the students, or is that the actual college motto? Let it all hang out. I guess, but it was perhaps a place of self-expression for which that was appropriate. What was mine? Pour bien désiré was my, which is French, isn't it? Of course, not Latin. Pour bien désiré was my school motto, to desire what is good. And I've not changed, I can tell you. Tomorrow in Portuguese history. Hold on a minute. Okay. 1680, Colonia del Sacramento is established by Portuguese settlers. So what? Well, he might come back on that. Yes, he does. Colonia del Sacramento is in modern day Uruguay. But between its founding and Uruguayan independence in 1828, it changed hands between Spain and Portugal 9 times and then became part of Brazil in 1822. What do the people think there? It's always so weird, isn't it, when when countries are handed around in this way, or occupied, or claimed, or defeated, or whatever. What do the actual people think? We need to hear from people, don't we? I'm fed up of hearing buildings speaking, and Russia said this, Downing Street said that. Come on, that doesn't help, that sort of nonsense. And it's another Stephen right here. The earth is bipolar. I think we're going to come back to these. My favorite British word, though, is oi, oi, oi. Oi, oi, Savaloy. Anyone know what a Savaloy is? That's a very British thing. And calling everyone mate is very Aussie. Yeah, but which came first, the Aussie mate or the Cockney mate? I wonder. I would have thought the Cockney mates were there first and took it to Australia, right? And this day in history, Michael Jackson's hair caught fire in a Pepsi advert, but it was all the better as he was blowing bubbles that evening. Peter Bleach. Oh, I thought for a moment, I'm looking at this day. That's how he gets me. Oh, Bleachy. Bleachy, mate. We're going to move on from that. I want to tell you about my moment. No, I don't. I'm going to do you bad news and then good news first. Okay. So we got. Don't we need to address this? This is from the Portugal resident. This is shocking to see, especially in a country with an amazing agricultural tradition, and with some of the expats moving here who want to, grow their own food and so on. Meanwhile, globalization, taking people to the cities, taking them away from growing their own food. and leading to people needing to use food banks and a situation that's getting more desperate. So desperate for help to eat. We don't like to see this. NGO warns pandemic put 40% more people on the breadline. Yet another warning has come over the precarity. I don't know that word, precarity prompted by the pandemic. So pandemic precarity has been prompted. NGO for the homeless, the CASA, which is rather ironic, isn't it, to call a homeless organization CASA, Centro de Acolhimento do Sem Abrigo, has been talking to Lusa, principally about the unresolved complex problem of Portugal's 8,100 rough sleepers. But Director General Nuno Jardim has also highlighted a new issue, that of homeless people with a roof over their heads, but very little else. Okay, yeah, we'll see what's happening here. The vocabulary is not serving this situation, is it? Let's just call it what it is, poverty, right? And a shame, a massive and horrible shame for humanity. He described the new characteristics of this phenomenon, which in terms of demand increased CASA's workload by 40%. Slightly misleading headline. 40% more people on the breadline. I mean, I'm not meaning to undermine it, but you could think that as a national figure. But this is the workload of CASA. There are more foreigners, people who work in the hospitality industry and who somehow slip through the net in terms of being able to claim financial support. They are our fellow expats, Mr. Jardim described them as homeless with a roof, as these people tend to live in either in a home or a room, but have no conditions for a life in any way dignified. And it's so sad to see and read things like this and want to do something about it. They will have had precarious jobs possibly paid in cash without contracts before the pandemic, which they lost once it hit. CASA is currently supporting around 7,000 people throughout the country, only 2,500, 2,500 of which are truly homeless. Isn't it? And that's a sad state of affairs, isn't it? When there's a kind of argument, not an argument, but a distinction between the homeless and the kind of homeless. The Social Support Legion of Good Faith, Legião de Boa Vontade, stresses it has had very, very large number of calls for help from families in dire straits. Social assistant Susana Veiga told Lusa the Legion receives 3 or 4 calls every day, mostly over food. Families. And what a terrible situation. I mean, that's just the people who are asking, isn't it? And what it must take to pick up the phone and do that. Families are also seeking help to pay household utility bills, she said. Support Association, the Community Life and Peace, explains that its distribution of food parcels almost doubled in March 2020 due to refugees, recently released prisoners, and unemployed people being added to the habitual demands of look at that, traditional homeless community. A traditional homeless community. I suppose there's always been homelessness, hasn't there? But again, another sad indictment of our society, any society that has traditional homeless. With political campaigning still taking up most of the media spotlight this week, serious socio-economic issues like these will no doubt come up for discussion and further ideas on strategy once a new government has been formed. Will it make any difference, we wonder? And I think with these, we often have to sort of take things into our own hands, don't we? And just instead of hoping that the politicians will sort it out, which they may or may not do, far quicker to come up with an initiative that helps out closer to home and quicker for those in need. Hopes are that the recovery of the economy will ensure many of the new homeless return to work and are able once again to stand on their own feet. Hopes of economic recovery. I mean, does anyone think there's going to be an economic recovery? Maybe briefly, but with rising inflation, their problems are unlikely to disappear overnight. Indeed, unemployment for the end of 2021 showed the first increase in numbers enrolled at job centres for 8 months. Natasha Don reporting there. And what to do about that. We will come back to that. I just wanted to park that there. And then on more on a good news tip. Yesterday, walking into San Martinho de Portugal, we will return to that and seek to do something about it. Okay. So going into town yesterday, a lady is using the multi-banco, the cash point, which is also a multi-banco machine, of course. I'm just keeping an eye on the time. We do have, we got another old picture of somebody from our community. These are coming in now, which is great. Thank you very much to whoever it was who sent that in. I'm not going to give the game away there. But here I was walking into San Martinho de Porto yesterday, and a lady at a cash machine, multi-banco, and they are one and the same, starts talking to me in Portuguese. And instead of, I could have had a somewhat of a knee-jerk response to that, and a fearful one. Desculpa, não falo português, and made some gestures of sorrow and despondence at not being able to help. I do know how to help with this situation, which I thought she was referring to, because she spoke to me in Portuguese. And you know how it is. Often, if someone assumes you're Portuguese, they will speak to you quite quickly in Portuguese, and she did. And so the gist of it that I was able to ascertain was that she wanted to use the multibanco machine. And funnily enough, I took some pictures of a multibanco machine so that I could show you this from a previous occasion. I was going to make a little video about how to pay your bills on the multibanco machine, which I think could be quite useful to people. Okay. And so I was able to rock it, luso, not loser, in this situation. And I think I need to check, see if Vitor's okay. He's normally pretty punctual, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe he's just being a little bit easygoing and Portuguese about it this morning. But I'll finish my story now. I said, "Sim, ajuda. I can help you with this." And so what you do is you go to the screen you would normally go to, where you have all your choices of what you want to do on the machine. You've got your levamentos, and the first two are taking cash out and getting statements, 1 and 2. But there are other choices, and I think this is probably screen 2. This will be screen 2 on making payments. And then you can do all these sorts of things. So I led her through to this. I wasn't taking, I did all the gestures of when she was putting her PIN number in. I was going, oh, just to make it really clear in a theatrical and dramatic way that I wasn't going to be taking any of her private details or looking at them. But we got through to this screen, which I think is after you've put your PIN in, and then you've gone beyond the cash, taking the cash out or getting a statement screen, you get to this one, pagamento. And there are different kinds of things you can do. I think this is probably where you can get your fishing license as well. And this is where you pay your bills, basically. So pagamento de servicios compras there. So we were able to press on that button, and during which process you are asked, do you want a talão, your receipt? So before we print, think of the environment, the ambient. Do you want a printed receipt to show that you've made that payment? Sim or no? And then once you've decided whether you want it or not, it goes through to this screen. And on your bills, where you can pay by MBWay on the multibanco, you have 3 sections to enter a number into. Look, you have the entity, which will be the reference of the person you wish to pay. You have the reference, which is your unique reference to show that you've paid your particular bill. And then you'll have the amount. Look at that. You can pay up to 99,000 euros. Now, as I recall, if this has expired or those details don't match up according to how they've been asked for or invoiced, if you like, and then printed out on your bill, it won't work. So I think all of that has to be in order before you can press the confirm button, and then the bill is paid, at which point the lady was very grateful to me, this foreigner who was helping her out, paying a bill online. Well, not online. Online in a sense, but online on the street at a cash point on the multibanco MB system. So look out for that in your bills here if you're in Portugal, and that is the way to do it. And maybe I will make a little video of that because it's a really proud moment. It's another, as well as getting your NIF number and being able to order a beer or a coffee, being able to pay a bill online, I think is a really a great milestone for anybody here in Portugal. Let's see what's happened to Vitor. And ordinarily he would be with us by this time. Do you know what? He's probably on the school run, so let me just remind him of the link details so that we can talk to him about anything you want to talk about in the north of Portugal this morning. So let me just WhatsApp that to the gentleman in question now, and then we'll come back to a few more of your comments. Have you yourself found yourself in a position where you are going to be a Lusitanian warrior, or you're going to be a loser and not be able to, you're going to wuss out and not be able to help somebody? I was so delighted to be able to do that yesterday. So let me just send this to him via Messenger as well. Vitor, where are you? Oh, there he is. Let me just stick that link in there for Vitor. I'm sure he'll join us presently, directly. Okay, lots of comments coming in, probably about that poverty situation that we remarked upon earlier on, that I shared with you, that I think we should do something about and figure it out. together. And let me just catch up. Yeah, Jack Polly, Dad. That's the Pavlovian response. Hoping to make the Airbnb in Bonfim in time. So what's going on with you? So you're past Nantes. You're motoring your way. You're on that motorbike. I mean, coming through France to get to Portugal. Is that how you're traveling? Rebel Mama. It looks like a big deck, much more than a banana slug. Geoducks are so good cooked correctly. What is a geoduck? Yes, so Luso talk here. Carl, mate, don't be so uptight. Loosen up. You are an expert. What am I being uptight about? Your filthy talk. You never catch me making comments like that, OLP. So offended here. Pete Bleach. Dear, oh dear. Thank you, Michelle. And yes, Australian would be might. But also, it's either an Australian or it's Dick Van Dyke being a Cockney. As well, some of you will remember. Pretty strange. Most folks don't know what they are. Is that geoducks? First time I walked the tidal area when I lived on the island, I was so confused when water was squirting from the sand. Oh, so there's a clue as to what a geoduck is. Are those little like goose barnacles almost that live under the sand and spray you with water as you walk past? They kind of ejaculate saline towards you. Yes, I did say that. In my modest opinion, Carl is more of a Luso-Brit. Thank you, Joao. I'll take that. Thank you very much. And Jimmy loves a cuddly, so does you. You're enjoying the Jimmy Choo pick there. Okay, big decks, geoducks this morning, blowing bubbles. Where can we go from here? I don't think we speak recognizable English most of the time. Haha, says Aussie Michelle. And good luck to you. Godspeed, SW. On your motorbike this morning. There's a Lusitania Comboio hotel that's a daily night train connecting Lisbon and Madrid. How exciting. Okay. That's a train hotel there, isn't it? It's called the Lusitania. Very good. OLP from Rebel Mama, it certainly does. If Carl reads this and looks it up, he will go nuts. So talking about nuts as well now. Okay, and Moaz. Joining the dots. Carl, Rebel Mama, did Carl interview you the other with another lady a few days ago? I think he called you Khadija. Was that you? Yep, that's my name. And that was we. Very good. Daniel Croddy's here. I am working with Vitor to get a 12-month rental for my D7. Nothing but good things to say about the experience. Well, I'm hoping we can talk to him this morning. Where is the fellow this morning? There could be a bit of a mix-up, but we're okay. We can chat here, can't we, until he joins us this morning. Dear old Vitor. Okay, Antonio, RMS Lusitania was a British passenger ship that was torpedoed by the Germans in World War I. Wow. Among the victims were 128 US citizens. And that turned the US opinion into participating in the war. Okay, so there's the full version of what SW was sending us from a motorbike in Nantes, possibly, tuned into the show. Fiat slug, not a flat slug, a Fiat slug there. I didn't know you went to Evergreen. I lived in Mason County for years. Look at this. We're always more connected than we realize, aren't we? And this is what we'll find when we're sat around the old fire pit, drinking a cold beer in Portugal together at various times, right? I can't wait for those conversations. Carl, the farm is amazing. And if anyone wants to buy a business, the owner is downsizing. Come on, let's have the details. I'm going to ask her if I can do a video on it. Excellent. Okay, so we're looking forward to some more details on that. That's emails coming in. I mean, goodness only knows how you turn down Outlook. You probably can't turn down Outlook, can you? That most counterintuitive of softwares and its beast of a brother, Teams. Anybody want to join me in booing Teams now? It's not helping, is it? And like I said before, fighting against things, constantly beefing about things, moaning about things, doesn't necessarily see the end of them. So I'll stop that right now. Cost of living through the ceiling. Oh, over there in the UK, here's a report from Blighty where people say, all right, mate, The vegetables. That's what Deborah Davies would have done. As soon as she touched down to Heathrow, she'd have been busting out the Cockney lingo. All right, mate, I want to come down the apples and pears of this plane. The vegetable was that Don Cheadle in Ocean's 11. The vegetables, as well as Dick Van Dyke, the vegetables, fruit taste horrible. Most sour fruit. Most people devastated because they abided by the rules whilst the PM partied. And on the upside, I ate 20 packets of Walker's cheese and onion crisps. Well done, Deborah. Well done. Did you bring any back? I don't think so. Who ate all the crisps? Deborah did. I'm a greener through and through. Yes, greener sounds better than greeny, doesn't it? I finished my degree and not long ago graduated, 2007. It was an amazing experience. Only public experimental college. Oh, and that's why it's let it all hang out. Only public experimental college left in the US. Great place. I call everyone mate, even my brothers. Yeah, it's changed, isn't it? It's become ubiquitous. The old mate greeting. Russell Brand has probably added to that, hasn't he, around the world? All right, mate. What do you think about these Illuminati? I mean, they are most discombobulating, aren't they, mate? I just finished a 15-day bout of COVID. Is that a variant? Still very tight. No, it's probably COVID, isn't it? And no wonder, 15-day bout. Your typing fingers are probably a little bit compromised there. So not meaning to make light of your situation. Lots of love to you, Maxine. Still very tired. Go test yourself. Don't wait for all symptoms. If you don't have easy access, a vaccination centre, biased at the pH, which sounds like something Russell Brand would say as well. Biased at the pH, mate. Why? I mean, far be it from me to question you. I'm not questioning you for the sake of being argumentative, but why would you test before waiting for all the symptoms? And is that just because diagnosis is helpful, and because there's not a treatment, is there? That once you have the positive test, you go for a particular treatment. Don't you just have to sit it out anyway? I'm wondering what the point is of testing there. Do tell me, Maxine, if you've got the strength to. Basically, sounds horrible what you've been through. Dude was the word in the US for a minute. I do not miss it. Yeah, and I felt the similar way. I can imagine being called dude. You know, when you're in a shop and a 20-year-old kid is calling you dude and you're like 40 or 50. It's like, that doesn't quite work. And that's how I felt with mate for a long time. But it changes. Things change, don't they? Through repetition, like 3-part slogans. Maxine, sorry about that. Glad to hear you better. Yeah, we're so glad to hear you're on the mend there, Maxine, and lots of love to you. This is so sad. This is reading through the article, presumably there, rather than the comments here. Oh, wow, you look like a suburban soccer mum. I had an image of you from your picture and comments as a wild, rebellious rock star. Not sure how it's not going to be me who goes nuts. It might be Rebel Mama going nuts this morning. You look like a suburban soccer mum. Isn't that an insult in the United States? Let's see what happens there. I've got to press this because I'm about to go nuts as well when I find out I might look it up quickly now. Is suburban soccer mum an insult for Khadija, for Rebel Mama this morning? Bon dia, great morning here in the UK, still awaiting documents for our new house. Good luck with that, Gary, as well. And you still hear it from time to time. Yeah, dude, you will do, won't you? Really? I look like that? I had a hat on. My hair is buzzed on the sides and back. Lol there. Second pick, Francis Gerbach. I wonder what's happening there. I see. Of the second pick. Okay, let's go to these and let's distinguish whether that is a guess at one of these or not. Here is somebody. We've got a few of these going now. So who is that? On the right in the Gumper community with his mother there. Beautiful. Oh, that picture is so joyous. I received that this morning and I thought that is so lovely. So who is that from our community on the right there? And who is this in our community in the Sport in Lisbon colours there, face paints? And was that a guess at Francis then, possibly from Jack? No, that's not right. And I do need some jingles for this, don't I? I need a for that. And the other pick, another one. So the three on the go at the moment. Who's that on the left? From the 1970s. And isn't it lovely how photographs fade like that? And a brilliant British street where I think people, to give you a bit of a clue, I don't think you'd have been called mate in that street. What would you have been called? Pet or love, I think, in that street. So yeah, that one on the go, and this one now in the mix. Who are these people? Who's that in the tux? So no, not Francis in any of those pictures. So estimated annual food waste. See, this is the problem, isn't it? It's your economy, it's your economic system, isn't it? Estimated annual food waste in 2018 was around 9.5 million tons, whilst people are, whatever definition of homeless we were talking about earlier on, this was happening. 9.5 million tons. It's ridiculous, isn't it? This is so on any level. Well, the only level it works on is a bizarre, abstracted, and perverted economic way, right? There is a justification for trashing food, isn't it? Because it's not worth keeping it and it's too expensive to give it to starving people. 2018, 9.5 million tons. This had a value over 19 billion a year and would be associated with. This is a forehead slap for humanity, isn't it? What is wrong with us? Would be associated with 36 million tons of greenhouse gas emissions. Ridiculous. Something wrong with the system. Those are the figures from the UK, but I suspect are replicated throughout the West. Yeah, we'll have our similar version of that here in Portugal. I was going to make a video too. Is that of you eating 20 packets of cheese and onion crisps? Once I understood it, please make the video. Oh, okay, using the multi-bancos. They should add driver's license. Not missing an opportunity there. Entering 5 to customize your cash withdrawal was a very helpful. Yes, some laughed at me for saying that, so that you could get more than 150 out. You can hit the 5 button and you can customize your cash withdrawal. That's my pleasure. I shall add that to my video, that multi-banco hack there. So I'm glad that's gone down well. I'm going to a rave next month in London, so that's my tribe. And I never get a weird look. So no faz mal there. Not going as a suburban soccer mum to that gig, I suspect. And we don't have a supply issue. We have a distribution issue. Absolutely right. But you could say that the supply issue is possibly. I mean, this is a question I've been asking because it was prompted in another discussion in another part of the social media sphere. But I asked this question: is it easier to go to the supermarket, or is it easier to grow your own food? Now, for some people who've been growing their own food for years, it's actually easier, obviously, once you're in the habit of doing it, to grow your own food, to pluck it, and to get it from your garden, which is easier than driving to the supermarket. And some will say it's easier to go to the supermarket because, of course, you don't have to grow your own. But you do have to go out to work quite a lot if you live that sort of life in order to afford to be able to go to the supermarket. So we have to. That's a big question, isn't it? Is it easier to go to the supermarket or grow your own food? And which is best for the long term and for society? Clearly, when we consider the stats that the prof has given us, it don't make a lot of sense. Okay, so we do have Vitor with us now. I need to take that off. I don't want to hide him with a lovely picture of aubergines and tomatoes. Here is our man in the north, Vitor Costa. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Hello.
Hello.
All
right.
I'm a bit shy. I'm not used to this, so.
You're not, are you? You're a very shy and introverted personality. So we'll do our best to bring you out of your shell a bit this morning. Let's see what we can do. How are you?
I'm good.
What have you been up to? What have you been up to in the north of Portugal, and how's it going up there?
We finally got the COVID.
You're not well.
No, I am now well, but seems more a mental thing than anything else. It would basically make it uncomfortable to think.
So you were forced to be mindful and meditative rather than think, because I know you're a big thinker. There is no question about that. So you were given a bit of a rest, I think.
Yeah, a little bit. It was like it forced me to take some vacations. That's basically what it did.
Good. Well, I'm glad you've had a rest, and I feel a little bit bad. Even asking you to be. I didn't know everybody. Let me just make it clear.
Oh, no, it's fine. This was like a week ago or something. I am now pretty much starting to become well. Marie is still asleep with Bianca, so
Oh, bless you.
I think she's got it a little bit now.
Right. So the Casa Costa is been a little bit under the weather, on the mend now. But you sound like you're still struggling a little bit. And thank you for being with us this morning.
Now it's completely unrelated. Must
really hear it now.
Must have been a cold during the night or something, and now it's just the nose. But I didn't get any real breathing issues or anything with it. So
okay. So your main symptom, by the sound of it, was just this difficulty. Oh, you've gone blurred now. That looks like a COVID symptom.
Yeah, it's a camera thing. Every time
the camera's got the COVID as well.
Let me complain to the manager.
No, don't worry. Inanimate objects can be tested positive, and maybe your camera has a positive test too. What's going on in the north? What news? I mean, I feel bad asking you to do this now because you're clearly, you're not doing well.
It's fine. One thing I figured maybe we could do, which I don't think we have done before, is maybe we could boot up Google Maps.
Yeah.
And show Ponte de Lima a little bit.
Let's do it. Let's hear about Ponte de Lima, because I saw an amazing picture from your friend of mine, Senor Barbosa, was in Ponte de Lima yesterday, I think, showing off a beautiful property up that way. And whenever I refer to the north of Portugal, I talk about it as the underrated and basically unknown and beautiful part of Portugal. There's so much to learn about, and it is very worthy of consideration. You've still got your coast, you've got your green coast over there on the Atlantic, and then you've got your amazing landscape of the Ponte de Lima. And of course, you have, if you go over to your northeast, you're going to be bordering with Spain as well, and having all the joy that popping across to Spain and saving on expense that can be brought to you by popping into Spain as well. So if you're in this condition at the moment where you're thinking about where to live in Portugal, and I know that's a difficult subject. We're talking about it tonight on the Premium Plus Q&A, and it's complex, isn't it? Every new place you go to or hear about, you want to live there. But it's well worth adding the north to your list, especially if you want a little bit of a refuge from the blistering sun of summer. That's one of the main features. So the area in question, then, have you got your Google map there? You're going to pop that up for us?
Yes, sir. Let's see. Okay. Where do I share this?
I might have to stop sharing at my end. I was just sharing a miserable news item about homelessness going up in Portugal, and the definition of homelessness, and the amount of people who are not able to eat at the moment, which is something we need to do something about here. Our fellow expats, actually, many people who've come to Portugal to work and are finding themselves in hard times. In fact, we did launch last week, because of Victoria's situation, an emergency fund. So it may extend to that, helping people out, expats coming to Portugal who are down on their luck. Okay, so let's bring on your screen share, shall we? We're talking about
So
a lovely motorway in Ponte de Lima.
So this is kind of one of the main roads that comes into the village, right?
Yeah. We're in Ponte de Lima now, are we?
We're almost arriving. Let's see if we can go to the tunnel. Okay. Yes, we can.
Oh, we're going through the tunnel, everybody. This is a road trip. We're on a virtual road trip with Vitor Costa,
yes,
our manager this morning.
And also, right on top of us, this is actually a roundabout that goes on top of the tunnel.
Well, you spoiling us this morning, honestly.
Oh, yes.
Treating us as major engineering, some urban engineering this morning.
And so I'm showing this because Ponte de Lima has a particular trait where they try to look very, old.
Yes. Well,
old,
but it is a place of historical interest, isn't it? Isn't there a public art installation featuring Lusitanian warriors fighting the Romans?
There's a lot of art in the street, and we'll be able to see quite a bit of it here. So here is like a parking area where this is a bit outside the village, but this giant thing with trees is already part of the village.
Okay, the village of Ponte de Lima. We're in Ponte de Lima. You're calling it a village?
Yes, it's the oldest village in the country.
Okay, that's interesting. So I have it as a city. You have it as a village. Why are we using different words here? Is this a Portuguese governmental classification? It's strictly speaking a village.
Yeah, it's something to do with technicalities. Apparently, the city could meet the Ponte de Lima could meet the qualifications to be considered a city, but since we are the oldest village, we're keeping it as a village.
Okay.
And so here's the thing: you're arriving, and so instead of a tarmac, you have what we call paralelos.
Paralelos. Okay, charming. A charming
thing.
Yeah. Okay, we've gone from tarmac into oldie worldy paralelos.
And so here it starts becoming a little bit less, I guess you could say, industrial.
Yeah.
And here's the theater.
Yes. Very nice. Okay, I'm loving this. This is a great idea. You haven't got to go out and get cold. We're doing this virtually. We're on the road trip of Ponte de Lima, everybody, if you just tuned in. And I was a bit worried at first. You were taking us in through like an underpass, and it looked quite urban. But we are finding a bit of oldie worldy charm now, aren't we? Look at this.
Yeah, look, you can see a church there.
Yeah.
Right.
Ye oldie village of Ponte de Lima. Oh, and a Eurobic, a familiar brand.
Yep.
And Bob's here this morning. We absolutely love it up here in the north of Portugal. So there you go.
There we go. There are people there. Here's the a small hardware store.
Yeah, these are lovely features in Portugal. You go in there if you're new to the area and you're building your home, as in not building it literally, but if you're creating a home, you're going to find all the lovely things in there, and you can talk in Portuguese.
Look at this area. Look, can you see this home here?
Very nice.
A little tower right there.
Yeah, very charming.
And then this is the weirdest thing, because it feels completely out of place, that the green block, but because it's like it seems rusted or whatever, it also doesn't feel out of place.
Yeah, what's that?
I don't really know. It kind of looks like some sort of furniture store or whatever. Maybe it's someone home. I have no idea, to be honest.
Portuguese are very, very good at mixing the old and the new, I think, in a way that other countries wouldn't dare to do. You wouldn't see that in England, for example. The people would be mortified by such modernity in the midst of antiquity.
But it's the only modern construction of this kind that I know of that actually fits. All of the others are just like boxes. They're in the middle of nowhere. So there's still a lot of also homes to be reconstructed and remodeled.
Yeah.
So this is like a small...
Oh, it's lovely.
So Portugal, as you may know, sometimes it's known for its amount of roundabouts, right?
Yeah.
So here is a Estátua da Dona Teresa. It was one of our queens. And so this road now has been basically rebuilt to just be roundabouts. So you come in here, there's one. You continue going up. There's another one right in front.
Nice avenue, yeah.
Right there.
Yep.
Yes, it is a very nice place. And then you have another big one here.
Okay, and that's American drivers. It's not too difficult, is it, learning how to use roundabouts?
Oh, no. It's actually really useful. It helps a lot with traffic. And there's another roundabout there, but now we are already leaving the village. So let me just... Oh, whoops! That's not what I wanted to do.
Oh, we're going fishing. We're going fishing now, by the look of it. Oh, and there's a Santander. All the banking brands that you're familiar with.
So we're back. Let me just go back to the statue. All right. So this is where we were, because the village is not in that direction. There's a little castle thing there. This is a public area. You can go up there. It's really nice. And so here you have one of the main streets. It's pretty much only for walking.
Yeah.
Here's the post office. Here's a town hall.
Very nice. So beautiful and very peaceful and quiet by the look of it, Vitor.
Yes, because here only this small road, which due to it not being tarmac, people and being a bit tight, people usually drive very slowly.
Yeah. That helps, doesn't it? Yeah, traffic calming, natural Portuguese traffic calming.
Oh, so we have a big event in September called Feiras Novas.
Yeah.
And this uphill, you cannot see the floor in September. It's just filled with people, mostly students, and bars and stuff.
Yes.
And just a bit. Now we're getting to the village center. Look at this oak tree.
Oh, that's an ancient oak, I suspect.
Yes, sir.
Sobreiro. And your village square.
Yep. And if you notice, pretty much the only thing that you notice that's more modern, it's basically the road signs. Because as far as I know, you can't really have publicity or anything like that.
Yeah. And there in the distance is the Ponte de Lima, right?
Yes, and we can actually drive through it.
Hold that pleasure, Vitor, for a moment, because we have some special guests with us. And we'll come back to our lovely road trip. That's fantastic. You're a brave man driving through Google in the morning. So thank you for doing that. We'll come back to that. We'll find out about population. We'll find out about market day. And we'll have a look at the bridge in just a moment. But let's welcome to the screen now, Cheryl and Graham Smith from Figs on the Fun Show. Good morning to you both. How are you?
Good morning. We're very well, thank you.
Now, we need to get used to you being like this on the screen because you're upcoming stars, aren't you, of a new place in the sun. How's it going? What was it like to be on that TV show?
It was good. It was very busy. You're kind of on the hop all the time.
Yeah.
And, but it was very enjoyable. We had about 3 cameramen who filmed us at various stages. They didn't all come at once. We only had one at a time. And one was from Italy, the other one English, and another one was Portuguese.
Wow.
And I think the main thing is just be yourself and just, as though they're not there.
Yes. And so you've had this international camera crew and you're part of becoming hugely famous, certainly on British TV. And I think people will be wanting to watch you all over the world, won't they? And getting a VPN quickly so that they can watch the show outside. Get a VPN, folks, to do that. But of course, this celebrates your love of Portugal. We're talking to Vitor, our man in the north here, and you are our new friends in the south. And so you've been there for a little while at Figs on the Font Show. Tell us about that and why the TV program was so interested in making a show about you. Figs on the Font Show being figs on the fennel, right, in Portuguese?
Correct. We have a lot of fennel in the countryside. So hence the name Funch. And figs is because we have some fig trees on our property.
And the property is surrounded by the Barragem de Funch. So we've got a lake around us.
Okay, so I'm making too much of Fun Show. It's Fun Show, isn't it? Rather than too much of an emphasis on the O there.
Yeah.
Or it's spelt like that, but pronounced differently.
Forgive me. Sorry with that. And when did you first fall? When did you first fall in love with this place and this part of Portugal?
Okay, well, we've been holidaying in Portugal since 1998. Coming every year with the family. We used to be based in London, and we found this place in 31st of December 2006. And Cheryl we're looking for a place where we could have 2 footprints, one for the family, one for guests, and it had to be on water, and it had to be within a driving distance of an international school. And I said to Cheryl, you're not going to find that in the Algarve, it's so dry. And we kept looking up in the north, and then eventually we were fortunate to find a stunning location with the lake around it. And we purchased it in 2007, developed the villa in 2009, and we did villa rentals from 2010. But we're now fully located here for just over a year now. We've moved lock, stock and barrel from the UK. And now we're running it more as a retreat venue, do events, and sometimes bed and breakfast as well.
Yeah, we do walk-in holidays, painting holidays, and then we rent the villa out exclusively from June till September.
Oh, superb. Okay. And you can get married there as well, right?
Oh, yes. Yes. We've had a couple of weddings here.
Tell us about that, because that will be a stunning location and a great thing to do. How many people can you accommodate there?
We can accommodate about 70.
Yeah.
And they can have a sit-down meal. It's it's definitely a location if you're looking to have a country-style wedding or a boho wedding, because the views are really stunning, and it really complements the backdrops of your wedding photos. It's something different.
It absolutely is. And presumably, if you have more people, they can stay elsewhere. You can connect them up with other accommodation in the area.
Yes, there's a lot of B&Bs or even the hotels. We're not far away from Albufeira. We're half an hour away.
Okay.
The airport, which is Faro, is a 45-minute drive.
Okay.
So there's plenty of choices regarding accommodation, and the best way to get your guests to the wedding location is to hire a little mini coach.
Okay, which is all part of the fun.
Yes, and then they're all together.
Oh, superb. This looks amazing. And also detox and yoga then. We've had a few of our community here, Cheryl and Graham, are feeling a little bit poorly. I think a few weeks or a week in the Algarve, in the increasingly warm environment of the Algarve at the moment, would be fantastic. How does it work? What typically happens when people come and stay with you for one of these retreats?
Well, we get a yoga teacher to run the yoga classes. Graham and I are keen cooks. We're vegetarians, so all our meals that are served are vegetarian, and they're very flavoursome and wholesome. We get all our produce from the local market whenever possible. So they've got healthy meals. They can have yoga every single day, and we have plenty of walking paths around the villa, so we can take our guests on walks. And then if it's warm enough, and if the water level is high enough, we can go wild swimming.
Oh, wow.
It's quite popular. So some of our cameramen loved having, a swim in the lake.
Just to cool down.
Yeah, to cool down. Amazing.
And we've got a kayak and sup as well. And, people have come here for kayak lesson or sup lessons before. So it's a great location for water sports like that.
Hold on a minute. That's stand-up paddleboarding. You can learn how to do that with you as well.
Yep. Yeah. We can arrange that. Yeah.
Incredible.
In fact, one of the events that they filmed. Oh, I don't know. It might be a spoiler. Better not say anything.
we don't know what's going to be shown on the TV, to be honest.
Sure. Okay, fair enough. Very restrained. And here are some lovely pictures from your website. It's figsonthefonge.com. We're looking at the galleries here. These are absolutely beautiful. Quite extraordinary. And these would be lifelong memories, wouldn't they? And this incredibly beautiful backdrop here. Oh, superb. And I can see what you mean. A sort of a boho chic wedding there. Absolutely superb. Love it. So how long did that whole filming process take? Because we know what it's like, don't we? We're getting a sense of it with TV, that they're going to be, you'll be on, and it won't necessarily reflect the amount of hours that have gone into the production. So how long were they with you all together?
Well, most of the other participants, it looks like they were with some of them for about 2 years, but in
right, is that what it felt like?
No, not really. No. But I think we started filming in June, and then we finished
in October.
Early October. So ours was very quick. It was quick and fast.
So we had quite a lot of events on at the time, so they filmed quite a lot.
You see, we're slightly different to the others because we've already renovated our villa, and we've been renting it out as a self-catering villa for the last 10 years. So we ran our business from the UK, then during the first lockdown, we decided to actually now do it, because we had been talking for 10 years that we wanted to do something like this, come and live in the Algarve full time and have the slower pace of life. So in lockdown, we decided we're going to do it, and we sold our house, but then we have another build on the property which is complete. So now we're living in the villa, and we had to change our business model so that it could fit with doing something and staying on the property. And hence that's why we do a lot of events. And so the painting and walking holidays, they work really well, because we have clients who stay with us in the villa, and then we also invite expats on the Algarve to join in. So they might come for the painting lessons every day, but they're not actually sleeping over.
Okay, and it sounds like it is very flexible. Sorry, that's not a yoga joke, but generally speaking, how people can engage with you in quite a flexible way. I mean, it says on your site there, plan your own sort of bespoke retreat, and so you're open to that, are you? People sort of plugging into all the many aspects of all the wonderful things to do right there.
So if people want to have a walking holiday and they've got a group, we will build a package that suits them. The different types of walking routes, how difficult or easy. We've got locals that are ready to do guides around the area.
But if you're a yoga teacher and you want to run your own yoga retreat with your tribe, you can do that as well. So we have somebody who lives around Farah, and she's come twice already to our place to run her own retreat.
And another time in March.
And she's coming again in March. So she takes about 4 nights. So she has a short yoga break over a weekend.
Long weekend.
And they do yoga, and then they go walking, and they just have a nice fun time out here in the nature.
Yeah. It looks. I mean, the standard of finish there looks fantastic. The comprehensiveness of all that you do is wonderful. Louise is making this comment here, Cheryl and Graham, that I think the first lockdown made a lot of people finally get on and do it. You say you changed your business plan. You decided to move to Portugal. Let's talk about that for a moment, because it sounds like that's working for you. We're talking to you this morning. We're seeing your beautiful place, and we can hear the birds singing. And are you drinking wine already?
Hell no, it's water.
Okay. All right, no, we don't judge here. We don't judge, but it's all part of an amazing scene. Are you glad you've done this?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we love it out here. It's very relaxed. We wake up, it's blue skies most days. We eat healthy. We can go for walks, just before sun set, and it's beautiful. We can't be in a better place, really.
And it's very easy to make friends on the Algarve.
Yes. But I get the sense that you're quite remote, and this is another great thing to be able to remark upon here, is that a lot of people have an idea of the Algarve, don't they? I know I do, but you're slightly changing that stereotype, I think, aren't you, with your more rural location? You're not seafront, you're not intensely touristy. You're doing something quite relaxed and retreaty there in the Algarve.
Well, we look very remote, but in actual fact, we're only a 5-minute drive from our local village.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're in a national park, with the lake around us and that. And it's very peaceful and quiet, but civilization is not that far. Silver's the largest town near us, is probably 15-20-minute drive. So you're not that remote. We've got fiber optic broadband as well installed here.
Best of all worlds.
So it's a great place for digital nomads as well too.
Okay, yes. So you're open to that as well, people coming and staying, and I mean, what a place to work, to run your worldwide empire from on your laptop and sit and enjoy that environment there. That's super.
Delicious cooking as well.
And enjoy delicious cooking. Are you a chef, Graham?
Well, we're not a professional, just a hobby chef. I like cooking, like eating as well.
Well, that's a big win for people as well, isn't it? Looking for vegetarian cookery and food in Portugal. So enjoy that environment and enjoy your lovely food there. That picture of you in the kitchen is fantastic. That is such a win-win, says Louise as well. I think she's quite taken by your place, calling it a great resource. Looking remote but close to civilization. That is my dream. So I think you're living the dream there. And I think people will see this showcased on TV soon. When's it airing?
We believe it's on Monday, 31st at 4 p.m.
Okay. Yeah.
And hopefully we will, after the show, get links, which we'll put up on our website. So.
Well, do stay in touch with us. We'd love to hear more from you. If people want to approach you, if yoga teachers want to approach, if digital nomads want to approach, or if anyone wants to get married with that backdrop, and why wouldn't you? figsonthefange.com is the right way to do that, right? Approach you via your website.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I look forward to any inquiries that come through.
Great. Well, all the best to you. Good luck with it. It should be a lot of fun. I imagine seeing yourselves on the telly. Are you going to open a bottle of wine and sit there and look at it and see what they've done?
Yeah, we will do. Our daughter's flying out from the UK this weekend, so that'll be a special treat.
You'll have like a premiere in your front room of your own TV show. That's amazing. Superb. Well, all the best with it. I hope it brings you all that you desire, and keep keep having fun and providing such a beautiful service down there in the Algarve. Clearly, Portugal has something for everyone. We've been to the south with you this morning, and we will return to the north to talk more to Vitor now. Cheryl and Graham, all the best. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Nice to be with you. Go well. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Wow. Okay. That's absolutely beautiful. Cheryl and Graham there. Figs on the Fange. I will put that link in the comments once more now. So that if you do want to suddenly you and me are married already, Vitor, not to each other, but to our respective partners. So it's too late for us. Although we could renew our vows somewhere beautiful like that. Can you imagine doing that against this sort of backdrop? Absolutely beautiful. But I suspect you might say, Vitor, we have similar places here in the north of Portugal as well.
Yes, sir. And there are quite a few interesting ones. And we might be looking for something like that soon as well. But that's another conversation.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. 1 minute. You're thinking of opening something up like that yourself in the north? Or on behalf of
No. That's not what I was considering. But, we might be planning on having some sort of party. Actually, I think we'll have a wedding in March.
Okay.
Anyway,
all right. Okay. All right. Look, we were poised and ready to go. I was going to say assault the bridge. We're not Roman warriors invading Portugal anymore. We could just take a leisurely walk after we've had a nice pastel de nata and a coffee in the square that you showed us there. So can we return to our little mosey across the bridge there?
There we go.
Okay, there we go.
And so let's just put it here. And this bridge is actually, most of it is over 2,000 years old, built by the Romans, hence the name Roman Bridge. But yes. I believe it is this part of it that is actually 1,400, so they kind of expanded it a little bit.
Okay.
And this whole sand area, when it is that party I mentioned in September, this whole sand area, it's all tents with people selling stuff, and it's basically a carnival, right? Like small roller coasters and Ferris wheels and everything.
Fantastic. September, you say?
September, yes. And then over there, you also have a big horse rink, and they also have concerts and all of those things.
What do you mean a horse rink? Do they do horse shows there as well?
Yes. Okay. Horse rink. That's probably not the correct term. That's circular.
Yeah,
thing where horses do their thing.
Yeah.
And so here we're on top of Rio Lima.
Hold on a minute. So locals refer to it as the Lima. That's the name of the river, right?
Rio Lima. The river is called Lima. And so Ponte de Lima, it's the bridge of Lima, which is the river.
Yeah. Beautiful, clear water. And
this small island here, it's now completely overgrown with vegetation. But when I was a kid, me and my uncle used to take me here. We used to cross this shallow water, and we would hang up our towels here and everything. And that's what we usually did.
So you can go swimming in the river?
Oh, yes. And in fact, it's quite often that you see young people and teenagers jump from the bridge to the water, which is a bit of a ways up, but
yeah. And it's allowed, is it?
Well, I haven't seen anybody getting problems.
Okay. No, in some parts of the world, people, as our American friends say here, get their panties in a bunch about stuff like that. But I think Portuguese people are a little bit more relaxed about these sorts of things, aren't they?
Yeah, usually nobody really bothers them, but I'm sure somebody will be upset. Oh, I haven't told you the story about this horseman here.
No, I don't think you have. Let's go see that horseman.
Okay, I can't really go there because this whole area that stretches for a few kilometers is only for walking.
Okay.
But I can also, before I do that,
There's a horseman
back
there
here on the bridge.
Yeah.
We can't really see, but there are a bunch of soldiers there in a row. Let's see if I can.
Oh yes, we have seen. We saw a photo of these before, but this is fantastic. As I say,
Yes.
overlooked, underrated, north of Portugal. We're in Ponte de Lima, having a little bit of a tour with Vitor this morning, our man in the north.
Okay, you can kind of see the soldiers there in the river.
Yeah.
You see the rows there, and there's a little boat.
Yes. Okay. So do not be concerned if you see a row of soldiers whilst you're sunbathing in Ponte de Lima. It's just an art installation.
Indeed. So those soldiers and that kind of horse, they tell a story because when the Romans got here, they thought this river was one of the rivers of Hades, and it was a river that they thought if you drank from its water, you would lose all of your memories, and so the soldiers didn't want to cross. So the commander, he crossed it on his own, and then he called everyone by name so that they knew that he didn't forget.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Cool. The things you have to do as a leader.
Yeah, and it's true. Oh, now that they have like an engraving of a face here. It's since been added.
Yeah.
And here's another church. Cool things. And here, this whole thing that stretches up to the front and goes all the way to the back is a public park. You can enter here. Here's the gate. It's usually open. You can come in here. It's a beautiful park. You can hang out. You have a little museum there. You can see they have, I think it's €1 per person. And you can see a little thing about, the wine cellar and the equipment they use. It has little plaques with translations. And they have like a 30-minute video going on in the room about, the life in Ponte de Lima, and specifically around the sowing from the collection to the processing of flax.
Oh, so that's a big crop, is it, in Ponte de Lima, in that part of Portugal?
Yes. And how they do, the tapestries and all of those things. And
is that a historical thing, or is it a current crop that flax is grown there? Because there's beautiful blue flowers, aren't there, from the flax fields?
That is a great question because I don't personally know anybody who does that. Right. It could be historical, or there could be productions there. I still haven't known anybody. Okay. But yeah. Oh, and as a side note, if you have kids, they also have like a kids park there. Excellent. That we often take Bianca there. And here is like just one big, grassy area. You can go there and have a picnic or something. There's a cafe there if you want.
A lovely profiling of Ponte de Lima there. Bob really enjoyed the variety of small shops. Our first stop with Vitor when we arrived was a small hardware store to buy an axe to split firewood. Yes. Of course.
Yes. And on here on the street, you have all kinds of small shops. So here it's on these alleyways, right? Let's see if I can get a better view. Okay, so this is the street that goes to that statue. And then you have many alleyways on the left and right. And these stores, which maybe there are things like this in other parts of the country, but I haven't really found them. But many of the stores in the middle of the alleyways, they're only wide enough for one person to fit in.
Okay, right.
They're really, really narrow. And it's like just shelves, basically, that you have to squeeze your way through.
And get to know people in the town.
All right, and now here, this is Encanada.
Yeah.
Which is one of the most well-known restaurants here.
Okay. What's their specialty?
Arroz sarrabulho. It is our food. Okay, the dog's woke up.
It's kicking off at Vitor's house.
So this might not be the most appetizing for everybody.
That's great.
Particularly vegans. Yeah, which I understand, right? You know, you get all kinds of Portuguese stuff, tripes, and
that's the signature dish of that restaurant, is it?
Of Ponte de Lima, actually.
Ponte de Lima. So your tripe and offal and black pudding in the mix there. Amazing! What an amazing dish. What's it called?
Arroz de sarrabulho.
Arroz de sarrabulho. Okay, amazing.
I'll send it there. Bob had it on the first time they were here, and he enjoyed it. So,
and he's still alive. Yep, absolutely. Rebel Mama. I took the 101 to Braga from Ponte de Barça, which is my fave bigger place when I go. And yesterday I took the 201 back to Ponte de Lima. Had to do a quick shopping trip there. It was a pretty route. So there's the bus routes for you: the 101 and the 201. We've got people in our community who know and love these streets.
Exactly. And here's Sabores de Lima. I also highly recommend. They also have sarrabulho, but their dishes are very good. And this one here, which maybe doesn't look as great on the outside, but you can eat really, really well here. I'm very picky with restaurants, but this one highly surprised me. And for those of you who are vegan, they have here a mix of vegetables with red curry and lumpia, or I don't know what the correct pronunciation is, but it's really, really good.
Okay, so good vegan and vegetarian in Ponte de Lima.
I actually had lunch here with Rebel Mama and their husband the other day.
Oh, excellent. Oh, that's so good to hear. So the community meeting up.
And here is the old prison tower. You can still see like the gratings and all of this, which is now a museum.
Yeah.
And that's roughly
actually quite a good place for a prison, isn't it? If you're deprived of your liberty, you get to look out over the beautiful Ponte de Lima and see what you're missing as you reflect on your wrongdoing.
And here we call it Avenida dos Plátanos. So it's really long. It goes all the way to the church, and it's completely covered with these gigantic trees.
Beautiful.
And on the summer when it's really, really hot, you actually feel fresh in here.
I bet. And this is beautiful. This is a wonderful thing about Portugal, those who had the foresight to plant those trees such that we could enjoy them in our age and time. And that's an interesting thing for me, because at the moment we're looking at, nighttime temperatures sometimes, certainly zero, sometimes below zero up there in the north. But what can it get to in the summer, Vitor?
Well, I think rarely it gets up to 40.
But it can do.
It can, yes, but 30-something, 36s, and I think those are usually what we expect to be the normal maximums, excluding outliers.
Okay.
So and if you keep on going all the way, you get into they call it ecovia.
Yeah.
So it's basically, it stretches for miles, but you can only either go with a bike or by foot. Yeah. So if you want to, go along the river, be in the middle of nature, that's the cool thing about Ponte de Lima. It's that you can be in the center of the village or even a bit here and be surrounded by people. And then you walk a little bit in that direction and it's like you're alone.
Yes.
So
it looks amazing. Thank you so much for doing that for us. And we've got a little bit more intel coming in from Bob, who absolutely loves it there. Obviously, we spoke to Bob, didn't we, as a new arrival, Bob and Viv, and they're loving it up there. Rebel Mama's loving it up there in the north of Portugal as well. Let's see what other comments we've got coming in, because we have many this morning, which is fantastic.
Let's go Q&A time.
Let's go Q&A time. Vitor, I think I've got a banner for you somewhere. I've got so many now, Vitor, but let's let everybody know who you are and where you are. There we go. Vitor Costa, live from the north of Portugal this morning. That fantastic tour of Ponte de Lima, this virtual tour of Ponte de Lima this morning. Mary Poppins reference. Oh, that was me being. I need to lighten up and not worry about being called mate. I'm over it now. OLP. Let's see. Paulo Coimbra is here as well. Love that when Portuguese people are named after part of Portugal. Obviously, that's a pretty obvious one. Carl, geoduck is pronounced gooey duck. Okay, and it's a large, very large phallic-shaped clam. And who doesn't like a phallic-shaped clam in the mornings that squirts water up from under that sand? And I mean large in capital letters. Wow.
Why do I think I know what that is?
It's like a goose barnacle, isn't it? But a gooey duck. There we go. So now we all know. I've never been to Plum Village, but I watch their YouTube videos all the time. I'm not sure what that refers to, but there's somebody else joining me to boo teams. Not a happy bunny, not a team's bunny there. My husband went to several of his talks, not in Plum Village, but in California, I think. I'm wondering who we're talking about. And we have been sent a picture of a gooey duck, so we'll come back to that. Paris Hilton, 22, partied less than Boris Johnson. It's true. The whole world knows now, doesn't it? And doesn't mate come from the Navy meaning of shipmate? It probably does, doesn't it, shipmate? And Nuno is here. Good morning, dear community. Good morning to you. And being called dude instead of dad. Yuck. James, not a fan of that. Viv is here as well. Viv as well as Bob. There's the lovely Viv. Bon dia from Bob and Viv this morning. Sarah, actually, when you're a 60-something woman in a bike store and they call you dude, it's a compliment. Okay, it affirms the cool factor of the ride you're doing. And thank you very much for your what looked like bike locks through the ages, Sarah. You sent these yesterday, and it has a little bit of a tribute to Thunderduck with the yellow feet there. Those two things, I was going to do a what is this? Guess what? They are bike locks, specialist bike locks. Thank you very much, Sarah, for sending those in yesterday. Back to your comments now. There's a guess. That's a young Holly. Yep. That is a young Holly. James Holly with mum. So that's correctly guessed. Well done, everybody, for guessing that one. I think we'll have to, in weeks and months to come, we'll have to sneak in a picture of a young Vitor Costa as well. But well guessed on that one, everybody. I think he's thinking of a picture he might send us right now. Had a student address me as mate. I tore strips off him. Yes, that is not right. When you're the professor or teacher, to be called mate by the that's a step too far, I think. And the face painted dude is Carl. No, that's not me. A sporting match. Have you ever done something like this, Vitor? Do you ever go to these sorts of extremes to support your football team? Where's that wonderful picture gone? Oh, this one. Here it is. That's pretty impressive, isn't it? Talking of which, that's the sporting colours, and we're still trying to guess who that is. What are the football teams apart from Braga up there in the north of Portugal?
In the north, so we have Gil Vicente, which is from Barcelos. Yeah. I don't know where the name comes from, honestly. Feels a bit out of place because I don't know any places named Gil Vicente, but that's the team there.
Okay.
And you know, then you have the three big teams that everybody knows, which is Porto, Sporting, and Benfica, right? But besides that, I'm not very much a soccer person.
Okay, wrong person to ask, but Braga have got the most amazing football ground, haven't they? That is built into the rock. Their stadium is just that seems to be hanging architecturally from a rock face. So worth a visit. Whether you're
I have performed there.
Have you? Go on. What happened? What happened? What as?
When I was at the university's music team thing, they call it Tuna.
Okay.
And so we performed there in like the halftime show, but it was a fun thing because since it was such a big stadium, we weren't actually going to be playing the instruments because nobody would listen to it. So it was a pre-recording.
Yes.
And so the older guys, they all decided, hey, let's all switch instruments. And so the guys who would always play the accordion had like the cello and all of these things. The guys from the guitars had the we call it the pandeiretas. And so it was completely chaotic, and it was a lot of fun.
Now there's that Portuguese sense of humour right there. Oh, news just in from Australia. New political party, the New Liberals, with Steve Keen as the economist. A bit of a debt jubilee component. Very good. Thank you for that, Michelle. That's worth looking into for our podcast tomorrow, I think. Write that down, the duck. Why can't I write? You can contaminate people many days before you test positive. The self-test costs 2.5. Whatever currency that is, Maxine. Are you in Portugal? I can't remember now. And Sarah, yes, I love it being called dude. I do appreciate it when a young person recognizes my obscure electronica t-shirt, lol. Dividing opinion this morning on whether to be called mate, dude, or what or not this morning. Are you wishing you could get an SNS number from the ATM? Yes, good point. I don't think that's possible yet. And hi, Vitor. I hope you feel better soon. And Viv is very pleased to see you. Look, Vitor, and when you were talking about being shy, she agrees. You really need to open up more. We'll help you with that. The anxiety is killing me. I don't have real bad symptoms, says Moaz. I'm ordering a DIY COVID test from the pharmacy. I'm not sure of it, but I think Portugal food does not reach the shelves, or that is not sold in time due. It's usually given to humanitarian institutions like Banco Alimentar. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. And what a trooper you
I have volunteered for Banco Alimentar a few times in the past.
Okay. And what happens? The food that's not going to get sold in the supermarkets?
Well, the way we did it is we basically, would be at the entrance of a supermarket. We would give bags to people, and then they would buy whatever they wanted. They would give it to us, and then we would distribute that food.
Okay, excellent. So that's good news behind the scenes there. So what a trooper, still showing up. But less love from Viv. He's tough, Carl. He can take it. She knows you well, I think. I just arrived. This is about the north of Portugal. I just arrived here and haven't seen much. I am already in love. This is the most north I have been so far. And I think that's a very normal reaction to the north of Portugal, isn't it? And Bob's saying, yeah, we absolutely love it up here. I want to go to more of Bob's comments because he's got some good intel there. Gloria's saying starting point for a shorter Portuguese caminho there across the bridge there. And you
Caminho Santiago. Yes. You actually go through the bridge.
Yep. And more talk of Bob's chopper there, the axe that he bought when he was first in Portugal. I think he tells us about, we're over 10 o'clock, I can't believe it. He also tells us about Market Day, which is every fortnight on Sunday. The entire river area was filled with artisans. Very common to see 4 generations strolling together. Wonderful. So that sounds like the craft market. What's your daily market provision like in Ponte de Lima?
Daily market? What do you mean exactly?
As in the mercado. There is presumably a fruit and veg and a meat market there.
Yes. So you had the small stores that I showed already, but the typical market is every 15 days on a Monday. And that avenida with the giant trees, that whole thing is tents and people buying stuff.
Very nice. Graham Smith, was this our guest this morning? Already famous for batting with a broken hand. Good to hear some South Africans. Really? Was it one and the same or the same name? Do tell us more. Owen, I missed this. I'm so sorry. With you wishing them a good morning, Owen. When I speak to them again, I will pass that on. How's it? A South African greeting there for Francis. Yeah, we've been all over the place this morning, literally, geographically, and in the chat as well. And Vitor, is there a major hospital near your village? So which hospital, please, for Moaz?
Yes. So Ponte de Lima has a smaller hospital, and they also have a healthcare center and all of these things.
Yeah.
But if it is something more serious or whatever, you go to Braga, which shouldn't even be 30 minutes, particularly if you go by ambulance, which is free here in Portugal, by the way. And Braga is one of the better hospitals we have here.
Yes. Okay. Oh, all right. Interesting. Oh, we are challenging the soccer mum pictures as well, or the image, the soccer mum image of Khadija, Rebel Mama. I've got a brilliant picture to share with you in just a moment. That's fantastic. And some pictures from Bob as well. Bob's sent in some. So we're hanging out a bit longer than we might ordinarily do, but we must do it justice, the north of Portugal, on this special spotlight on Ponte de Lima this morning. Here's a couple of extra pics from Bob, just about to come onto your screen now. And Vitor, obviously, will be able to give us the background of them on them. And there's another picture of the bridge. That's fantastic, with a rainbow. Was that a sign for you?
Double rainbow.
Isn't that beautiful there? Superb. And okay, I'm lost my place completely in the comments as well. So many not complaining as usual, just letting you know how
you can
great
see the soldiers there.
There are the soldiers, bottom right of your screen there, and with their general calling them across the water. I love that story. Another picture for you of the area. What's happening here? Somebody parked their smart car in the wrong place.
Oh, they're probably driving down, I think, because that's
allowed,
the sand lot on the left. The river is on the left.
Okay.
And you can see the prison tower there in the front.
Ah, okay, it's that building again. All right.
So
Fantastic.
You're actually underneath those huge trees.
Okay, all right, that's brilliant. Oh yes, on the avenue there, that's wonderful.
Yes.
And here's your picture. Here's your picture of Rebel Mama. That's not a suburban soccer mum, is it? And I think not that long ago, actually. And I should have saved that for her. Who is this picture? Just before. You know, that's only taken about 3 years ago. There's your Rebel Mama. That's why she's called that. And in no way suburban soccer mum in that picture. Okay. I have to leave now. Oh, we missed Joao for leaving. Let's see. Any more comments about the north of Portugal or any questions? Yeah, Bob, thank you for those. Can put up a pick or two. We've done those. And there is hospital. We haven't needed it, fortunately. Fantastic. Vitor from Maxine. Are there any river beaches? Great question, Maxine. You talked about swimming in the river. How else does one enjoy the water there, Vitor?
Yes, exactly. Like basically, people go to the river on the other side of the road that I showed. Yeah. But if you follow the river, there are a lot of river beach places. Also, on this side is not as common because it's more parking. But on the other side, absolutely. And if you go down, you see it a lot. Obviously, there are more, places a bit farther away from the village that pretty much have nobody, and that you can also go to the river there. So you can do that, absolutely.
Brilliant. Bob enjoyed the Arroz de Sarabulho there, and also known as the Papas de Sarabulho, it would appear. Thank you very much for sharing that.
And I forgot to mention, the Rio Lima also has a lot of, canoeing.
Oh, okay.
And we have a gold medalist as well. So you can also see a lot of canoes going up and down the river.
And these are kids that grow up on the water, presumably, canoeing, stand-up paddleboarding, and they become gold medalists. Fantastic. Looks lovely. Sue's missed the show again. We'll have to watch later. Have a great day, everyone, including the vintage people. Does YMCA have a new meaning? It does. We're going to be working on that. Don't worry. Okay. Prepare while you are well. Google supermarkets with home delivery. Okay, this is the COVID advice from Maxine. Of the wife of a next door neighbor. Will be happy to help. Speak to other expats around your area. Where are you located? Okay, is that I'm not sure who that was to, but some good advice there to be prepared. Are there rentals and B&B in that city, Vitor? What's it like?
There are. Yes, there are.
And you're the man to find them, aren't you? So you have found, as well as purchasing. So let's take that off there, and let's bring. When I remove that banner, or can we get your phone number and email address in the comments, please, this morning? Okay, you are missing a very big one, Vitória Guimarães. There, that is another football team, isn't it? I think that's being spoken of there. But he did admit he wasn't the biggest football fan. But Vitória Guimarães, I think, is probably a football team.
Yes.
You can call me anything you want, but don't call me late for dinner. Very good. The North has the biggest concentration of teams in the first league. There you go. There's your football facts from Humberto Gonçalves there. 10 out of the 18 teams are from Porto and the North. Fantastic. People fondle that like button and wishing you well, you poor dear, says Michelle.
I'm good, but I appreciate it.
All right.
The worst thing about this is that I got it just like a day before Catherine and Robert arrived, so I could not meet them when they got to their new place in Braga.
What a shame. So that's to come. That pleasure to come. So not the same, Graham Smith. Thank you. Cheryl's still here. Thanks for joining us earlier, Cheryl. It was so good to talk to you. And you'll have heard those greetings then from Owen and others. Really nice to have you in our community this morning. And is Francis the painted face guy? Nope, it's not. And Francis explaining there. Same names, Graham Smith, different people. He was our South African cricket captain a few years ago. Great pick, Rebel Mama. Yay, Rebel Mama. Cool shot there. Let's share that one more time of the rebel mama there. There she is. That's fantastic. I can see her walking around Camden Town in London there. Be cool, mate, and calling other people mate in that picture. Well, Moaz, good that you have a nephew to help you. So, Moaz, we're making sure that Moaz is getting looked after with possible struggles with the COVID there. Thank you, Carl, Vitor. And fellow Gumpers, have a great day. We're about to finish. So those details for you, Vitor, Vitor.Costa. At quite a long and hard to pronounce email address, which I'm now going to put inside the chat for you. There it is.
Probably better. Probably better. I have to say it is a bit of an uncommon name, so even Portuguese people who know who that is have trouble pronouncing it.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a go. Nuno Venceslau.
Yeah.
939. This is the number you need for him. You can WhatsApp him 939-133-003 for those rentals and helping you to buy a home. He's a fantastic buyer's agent up there in the north of Portugal, and there is his email address as well. We'll do a few more of those comments over the end titles. But is there anything we forgot to say about Ponte de Lima or the north of Portugal, Mr. Costa?
There's probably a lot that we aren't mentioning, but I can say in the Jerez area, which is kind of like our natural park, you have horses and Mustangs running around. And, yes. Just come here and visit. Like, even if you're on the fence on whether or not to come here, you have my number. You can visit and I can show you around.
That's it. Because even if you don't end up living there, you're going to see a beautiful and wonderful part of Portugal that isn't on most of I know the big towns are, but getting a sense of it, as you will do with Vitor, will be something you will not forget if you have a little trip around with Vitor. Thank you so much for being here. Get well soon. Stay on the mend. Lots of love to all the family. And thank you for being here, despite being a little bit under the weather, mate. I just called him mate. Ciao, ciao. Bye for now. And thank you to everybody. We'll see you tonight on the webinar. If you want to learn about shipping the things and the pets to Portugal, join us at 7:30 for that. Premium members, of course, get VIP treatment. So you can book that up. Do mention that you're a premium member. And tomorrow, we'll see Mia. Now, Mia has sent me a message. What do you want to talk about as we go into the new year and you've got your New Year's resolutions about learning Portuguese? What do you want to know about from Mia about Portuguese language and culture? Looking forward to talking to her in the morning. We'll see you then. We'll either see you tonight on the webinar or we'll see you tomorrow for the final Good Morning Portugal show of the week. Ciao, ciao. Bye for now. See ya.